everyone, Working Tool Garage here. I'm going to go over the cooling system on an automobile. So the one that I'm using now is my '89 Ford Mustang 5.0 because that's what I have apart, and I've been cleaning my parts up, and I decided I would do a little bit of a technical video for y'all. Alright, so the big heart of the system is what we see here, the water pump, and it's turned by your serpentine belt pulley, and it pumps water. This is what circulates your water. See, we got our little impeller right there. That moves the water to all the different circuits in the system. So we'll go over pump here in a minute. I'm going to go over the circuits right quick. So the main circuits, this particular water pump has a cover that goes on here. As I put it on upside down, or backwards. There we go. Mopars don't use that, by the way. They just have a pump. Anyways, so the Ford 5.0, this particular one, uses a cover on here. So you can see we have two spots right here as the pump is turning that it can pull it out of, right? Then we also have two more spots here that it can pull in and do some circulation on. And then we have this spot right here, which is where it pulls in water from the radiator. So these go into the engine block, so that's going to be our circuit 1, where it goes into the engine block and comes back around. And that's what cools everything off on the engine. Circuit 2 is going to be this one right here and this one right here. This goes to this piece here, which is the heater core. So it pumps in that good hot water, about 200 degrees or so, and then your blower motor blows across it, and that's how you get heat in your car, right? So this is circuit 2. Circuit 3 is the radiator over here. So you have water that comes in from the block when the thermostat's open. It's like a valve, basically, and it goes in through the radiator, cools off, and then the water pump sucks it up in through this spot here. So that's circuit 3. Excuse me, allergies and everything, so I'm all clogged up all of a sudden. So I'm going to go over circuit 3 first. So the radiator, what it does, it has a thermostat up in here that opens and closes. So whenever the water in the block gets too hot, it opens up so it can go through the radiator and get cooled. Now all the cool water in the radiator gets sucked in through the pump right through there, right? So whenever the engine cools down enough, the thermostat closes, and there's no more flow coming in from the radiator. So that circuit is closed off. That's why I want to talk about that one first. Talk about circuit 2. Circuit 2 is the heater core system. So it depends on if you will have the heater on or not, whether this circuit, same thing, is open or closed. When it's open, water comes in, these two are hooked together, right? Well, not necessarily those two, but you get the idea. And then this one right here will go to the intake manifold. This is also hooked up to the intake manifold, and it makes this little circuit through there. So if you have your heater on, it'll constantly be going in through there, coming up, going into the manifold, and then hooked back in through there. The last circuit is a block, and like I said, it'll flow through the block and comes back through it. Alright, here's how the magic works. So, if you look, try to show you here, if you look behind there, that is the inlet to the pump essentially, back in there. So whenever this rotates, it pulls through here and tries to shove it out through there and there. This is what you call the pumping chamber. So once it pulls it in here, it actually compresses, well, it can't compress the fluid, but it builds pressure in there because it's trying to compress the fluid, and then pumps it out there and there. So this is the pumping chamber, this round area here, outlet. It's typically how these work. So you get into a couple things there because you're actually with the heater right here, so it's got to suck in. We see that. That's why the intake manifolds it up in here, and they have all their circuitry mapped out like that, right? Can't show you a whole lot of that because I'd have to have the intake manifold here in the car and everything. But that's kind of the general idea of it. Okay, for you astute people who notice what are these little cutouts here, these are just weight savers. So if they didn't have this negative area here, which does not go into the pump in any way, this would be completely filled in and that thick, right? Same up in here, it would be that thick, and it'd just be a waste of aluminum. It'd add weight to it, and in the casting process, anything real thick like that doesn't cast very well. You'll start getting lots of porosity and just big, huge porosity is a big cavity, basically, right? So you just start getting air cavities and gas cavities in there from the casting process. So that's what these are right here. So that, in a nutshell, is how a water pump works. See you next time on Broken Tool Garage.